not gonna tell me, huh? Alright. Think I remember. How could I forget you? It's you, right?
Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Black Trey from Your Kicks, Your Network, bringing you another one. So today, we got something special for you. We doing the top 41 releases of 2021 and 2022. We giving our thoughts on, how we feel about these upcoming releases. Is this something that we're gonna watch? Are we gonna see it in theaters? Or are we gonna see it on TV? Because a lot of these films, they're gonna be dropping, same day to like HBO Max and etc. Or are we just gonna completely just skip it altogether? So let's start it off. So number one, we are going with Halloween Kills. So for me personally, not the biggest fan of like the horror genre, especially like the gory thrillers. I like dramas, but not the gory ones. So for Halloween Kills, I would say I'm probably gonna end up skipping this one. But this one seems to be a pretty big release, and I know a lot of people are waiting to see this one. This says it's releasing on October 21st, and I guess on that day, I'll be doing something else. So skip on that. Next up, we have the Addams Family 2. So I'm not the biggest fan of sequels and remakes unless they're like really cool, but the Addams Family is definitely a classic. Seen it as a little kid, and I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with this. It seems like it's more of an animated film. I think if I'm gonna check this out, it wouldn't be in the theaters, but if it is same day release to the TV, we gonna rock with this one. So we throw this on the list. Next up, we have Suicide Squad. For me personally, the initial Suicide Squad movie was one of the worst superhero movies to come out. Didn't like it at all. Didn't really like much of the characters. Didn't like the character development. I wasn't a big fan of it. But with the Suicide Squad. This is coming out August 5th, 2021. With this one, just based off of me seeing pretty much every superhero film that has came out, I probably would end up cashing in on whatever they bring it out with. So this would be like a TV release. Maybe so. Definitely not going to the theaters unless I get dragged to by friends and family. So we're going to put TV on this one for the list. Next up, we got Black Panther 2. For me, Chadwick Boseman, and he's out of there. So, we really aren't getting any details on what they're doing. They said they're not recasting. So obviously the Black Panther mantle is going to be going to someone else. More than likely Shuri, his sister. But we'll see what they got going on. This one, I'm going to definitely go check out in theaters just for the love, Big Black Panther fan, even from the comics, and he was one of the characters. Even though they watered him down, but he was still a beast. And my favorite scene from everything in the MCU was the chase scene with him and Captain America and Bucky in Civil War. So definitely got to check this out. Next up, we got Morbius. So we got Morbius. So Morbius is like the vampire, the Marvel vampire deal. With this one, it looked interesting, but Morbius as a character, he didn't really do much for me. I was a big fan of Blade, but Morbius, I probably would end up checking it out, but this I'll wait for it to come on TV. Not same day release, maybe DVD, or maybe catch it on the site for free. See what I'm saying? Hey, it is what it is. Next up, we got Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings. This one I'm sort of excited for. I'm looking up more info. I want to see what they're doing, like maybe get a trailer, see some of the fight scenes, see what they're doing. If it's going back to like the original like kung fu movies, then I'll be super hyped to see this. But I think that's the vibe that they're going for. So I'm definitely want to check out the Shang-Chi. I probably would end up going to see this in the theaters, so we're gonna throw that on the list. Next up, Spider-Man Into the SpiderVerse 2. It's coming 2022. I love the original. Thought it was super dope. You feel what I'm saying? This is the time where they use, because Spider-Man in the comics, it's very convoluted. There's different Spider-Man, there's different realities, there's all this stuff, but it's following Miles Morales. There you go, the Miles Morales story. You know, it's not exactly the same, you know, to the canon of the comics, but it was a decent. I say it was you know, decent enough. It paid enough homage to the source material that I really enjoyed it. But it was a great movie overall. The animations were great. The energy was good. The acting was good. Everything in that was good. So I'm definitely excited to see this, and I will be seeing it in the theaters. Next up, we have Ghostbusters Afterlife. Now, after that disaster that they did with when they revamped it and did all the, you know, the whole female casting thing, you know, at that point, and then it was just like, I didn't have a problem with them doing that, but then they started attacking fans and said it didn't make enough money because the guys weren't supporting it and this and that and third. I'm just like, all right, well, movies flop all the time, but attacking your fans because you didn't make money on the film, kind of that defeats the purpose, because you're providing a service, and obviously, if people didn't go see it, they didn't want to have anything to do with it. So I didn't like that. The original Ghostbusters were dope. Those, again, movies I've seen as a child. So Afterlife, you know what though? It seems like they really put a lot of detail into this. The trailer for this looked really good. So this is probably one that I will go see in the theaters. I like what they're doing with that. Now, Mortal Kombat, whew, this trailer came out a couple days ago. This one looks good. Definitely gonna see this in the theaters. Holla at me, you know what I'm saying? We out. We throwing this on the list. So definitely we up for Mortal Kombat. Next up, we have the Kingsman. I love the Kingsman. I think there were two of them. The Kingsman, the first one was super dope. I loved it. The second one, I'm not too sure if I've seen the whole thing straight through, but the fight scenes and everything just about the Kingsman and the lore, I love it. I don't know if it comes from, you know what I mean, like what the source material is, if it was books, if it was comics, like what it was, but the movie was definitely butter, and I definitely will be checking this out in theaters. Next up, we have Uncharted. Now, we got your boy from SpiderMan, was that Tobey Maguire? I think that's his name. So this is coming out the 22nd of July, so that's this year. I didn't really do too much looking into this film. The games were like okay, like a lot of people really weren't into Uncharted. I thought it was okay. I beat like the first one, but after like the second and third one, they just kept coming out. It was like, you know, I had a Vita, and the controls were kind of weird. The story was pretty cool. Treasure hunter, like sort of trying to do like the Indiana Jones kind of deal. I mean, it was pretty cool. This one right here, if I didn't see it, it probably wouldn't bother me unless like I heard like it was super dope. But for the time being, I'm not that excited. Seems like it's okay. Let's keep moving on. So we'll ship that to maybe TV, but definitely skippable. Minions, the Rise of Gru. All right, so now this is July 1st. This right here. And I seen the original Minions. I'm not sure if there were more than one movie, but one was enough for me. So, you know, like the Minions were cool, but it just seems like this is something that they're trying to like push into the ground. It's just like, okay, like I get it now. It's cool though, whatever. All right, next up we got Boss Baby 2. So Boss Baby, the original, was pretty cool. But you know, if this is something that the kids don't want to see, then you know, highly skippable for me. I did like the original, but whatever. So skippable on that. Captain Marvel 2. This is probably one that I will go see in theaters. The original I thought was okay. Didn't think it was as bad as people say, but you know, now that I'm thinking about it, and after, I didn't enjoy the film as much. So you know, it just seemed like with everything that they were doing with the MCU, and then they brought in the Captain Marvel movie at the end to just like bring in this overpowered character out of nowhere just because you're trying to push a narrative. I mean, it was okay, and it just seems that everywhere this actor goes, it's just drama that follows. Like, I'm not really too interested in that stuff, and you know, I just don't support terrorism in any form or fashion. So at the end of the day, like, I may go see it, but depending on like how the next couple of weeks and months go, I may end up putting this on the skippable pile. But for right now, we're gonna go check it in theaters. Next up, we have Cruella. Like I said, you know, the The sequels, like they're okay. 101 Dalmatians. I think they had like 2 or 3 movies, like 101 Dalmatians. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they did 102 Dalmatians, but I'm not too sure. But for them to just do another one after so long just seems like overkill. Like overkill. I guess they recast Cruella and stuff like that. So I don't know. I really don't know if this is a remake, what it is. So for now, this is skippable for me. Next up, 007, No Time to Die. These are some of the films that if people want to see them and I'm available, I'll go. But this is definitely a film that I can skip, or I can see. If it's dope, yeah, but, that's the thing with the James Bonds. The lore is always pretty cool. It always has good action sequences. Stories be cool. So, it's just what it is. It's just, every once in a while, they're going to come back with a, new 007. It's the same with, like, Mission Impossible. They just come out. So that's just what it is. All right. Next up, we have Dune. Now, Dune, I was a fan of, like, the old, like, source material stuff, like the old movie. But the old movie wasn't really that good because I tried to watch it the other day when I heard this was coming out. And I tried to, like, get into the books and stuff like that. So I guess I'm not as big of a fan as I thought I was. But this seems like something that they're redoing and they're really putting a lot of time and effort into it. And now they have more time to make it even better because it was actually supposed to come out in December and it never ended up coming out because of COVID and everything going on with that. So, you feel what I'm saying? Like, this is one that I definitely, if I think it's coming out on HBO Max, but if it's in the theaters, I will definitely check it out in the theaters. All right, now we have Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun was definitely a classic. Obviously this is a sequel, so I don't really know what the deal is. I think I may have seen a trailer for this. Like, it looks decent, looks pretty cool. Tom Cruise always does what he's supposed to do. So, if people want to see it, some of my peoples, we out. We're going to see Top Gun Maverick, I guess. All right, so we have Death of the Nile. I absolutely know nothing about this movie. So for the time being, since I don't know anything about it, I haven't really heard about it, we're saying skippable. But, if anybody is like really into the film and has any idea about it, let me know. Let me know if it's something that is, I should be considering. After this video, I may go check out, see if they have any trailers for it and see what's going on with that. It says September 16th, so I'll do a little bit of research and see what we're talking about. All right, next up we have the Eternals. Now, the Eternals from the source material, like, it was actually a pretty dope story. If you're reading it through Marvel, it was a little bit confusing at times, but with everything they're doing and the choice in characters and casting and all this stuff, like, it's kind of like drawing me away from the film. Like, they're changing certain characters from male to female and this and that and sort of preferences, and they're doing a lot, and it seems like they're putting more emphasis on the type of characters as opposed to, like, putting out good films. And anytime they do that, they tend to lack in story because they want to get like the type of writers and this and stuff. So right now for me, unless like I'm hearing anything different and unless I see like a really good trailer, this one is skippable for me. Next up we have Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry, like, the old cartoons and stuff like that were pretty cool. Do we need a movie in 2021? Not really. So for me, this will be skippable. At some point, if I catch it on TV or something, definitely will check it out. Next up, we have Doctor Strange, I guess, Into the Multiverse of Madness. Now, this is going to be a collabo with Scarlet Witch. She's going to have something to do with that. So it's going to be taking some elements from WandaVision and everything they got going on with the last 2 episodes of WandaVision, coming out this week and next week. So that's it on that. So we'll have some clarity. They said in WandaVision, they're going to have like a secret cameo, either, I'm assuming it's probably going to come in the finale. So they're probably going to leave WandaVision like sort of open, and then they'll clear up whatever plot details, whatever plot threads that they left open, and that they'll clear them up, I'm assuming, in this film here. So this is going to be something that they're saying, hey, you know what, you have to go see Doctor Strange too. So, it's like going to be a commercial for Doctor Strange 2, basically. So he's probably going to be the cameo popping up in the last one to figure out what the hell is going on with that world. But they say 2022 is no date, no trailer or anything on this, but this is definitely a film I'm going to be seeing in the theater. Holla at me. All right, next up we have the Batman. Now, every few years, you already know what they're doing. They grabbing Batman and they really trying to do it. So From my understanding, this is Batman year 2, so you know he's a fairly new Batman, establishing himself. So a lot of his gear, a lot of his vehicles, they look like high tech, but not really. You feel what I'm saying? Like he has the bike, and you know it's cool because his suit. It's sort of it's like the beginning stages of the legend. It looks pretty good though. I'm not gonna lie. At first there was a lot of blowback, and I was sort of like, another Batman, but the way they've been handling Batman over the past couple of years, I think they've been doing a good job. So, you know what? They have my vote, and I will definitely go check this out in theaters. Ooh, excuse me. All right, so then we have The Conjuring 3. I seen the original Conjuring. I do like thrillers. This is one that more than likely I probably will skip. Not really into these types of films. Just me. Nothing against them. I thought the original was cool. I hear that the second one wasn't. But we'll see. June 3rd on this? Yeah, so we'll see. If I come across it, maybe I'll check it out. But right now, skippable. Moving on, we got Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Guardians of the Galaxy 1. Loved it. Thought the story was pretty cool. Then 2 came out. 2 was alright. Wasn't bad. I think it was a decent follow-up, which, when it comes from a pretty good movie, a lot of times the sequel tends to be like, okay, doesn't really meet the standard. But I would probably give Guardians of the Galaxy, the original, maybe like an 8, and give the sequel like maybe a 7. So that's not bad. So they got part 3 coming out. So, I kind of have some hopes for this film. I think that with everything going on, because, seems like Gamora's in it. So we'll see what's going on, because in Infinity War? Yeah, Infinity War. Yeah, spoilers if you haven't seen it by this point, so whatever. Alright, but we're checking that in the theaters. Alright, so now moving on, we got Now You See Me 3. Now You See Me 1 was dope. Now You See Me 2. I don't really think I saw that. So I can't really, yeah. So this I'll probably, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to do, around the time this, they don't have a release date for this yet. Alright, so around the time that it's coming out, that's when I'm going to do the marathon. Part 1, Part 2, and then if I'm going to see it, then I'll do Part 3. So that's the criteria for me to be able to see this film. So right now we have it on the fence, as in TV or, doing what we do. So maybe not in the theaters, but it's a possibility, if we have the big crowd that's going. Next up, we got Aquaman 2. The funny thing about Aquaman 2, I saw it in the theaters and fell asleep at the end of the movie. So at the end of the movie, it was just like, oh man, I hear that the fight scene was great. Then I seen the movie again. Like literally, they just put it on HBO Max like the other day. And I just watched it like, I don't even think it's been a week yet since I've seen it. And then so the last fight scene I thought was pretty cool. I love Aquaman though overall, like the graphics, the way they swim in, the effects, the fight scenes. Like I didn't really particularly like the last fight scene, but throughout the film I did like the energy and the graphics and everything that they did with that film. So just off of respect for the first one, I'm going to check it out in theaters. So next up we have Sherlock Holmes 3. Wasn't interested in Part 1. Wasn't interested in Part 2, and guess what? Not interested in Part 3. I hear it was good though. I'm not gonna lie. I really hear it's good. I hear that Robert Downey Jr. plays a really good part, but I'm not interested. That looks like him in the poster. So, but skippable. All right. So next up we got the Godzilla vs. Kong. The trailer on this looked amazing. Definitely interested in checking this out. This looks dope, man. And so the thing, all right. So when I was doing a little bit of history on this, so basically what they're saying is like the old Godzilla versus Kong, like it happened like in that world, and then it's like sort of happening again. So like the lore is there on top of what is going to be playing out in the film. So it looks dope. And I think in the original, Kong defeated Godzilla, if I'm not mistaken. I had seen it, but I seen it a while ago. Because it's old. It's definitely old, but, it is what it is. All right, so Venom 2. So Venom 2, definitely interested in seeing Venom 2, but the only thing with this is, Venom 2 is a movie I tried to watch like 5 times and fell asleep on it every single time. I don't know what it was. It was just like, and since Like there was no inkling that there would be anything to do with Spider-Man, and he didn't have the white spider on it. They had to really sort of like do the movie, but like tread lightly. It just didn't sit well with me, and I don't like when people don't take the time to like wait for the right time to do something. They just like wanted to put it out, and I think it made a lot of money, so that's why they have the second one coming. But I'm gonna have to definitely check out the first one because I hear the acting really wasn't that good, and I just hear like it really wasn't that great of a movie. So, but I'll check it out. Venom 2. As long as I can see the first one first, we'll check this out in the theaters if given a chance. So, Fantastic Beasts 3. I saw the original. I know they're trying to push the Harry Potter stuff because the Harry Potter was real big when it was coming out. And then, they tried to finagle their way over to this. So it was pretty cool. So it was pretty cool. And, but yeah, this just was something that I wasn't really interested in. I don't know what it is about this, but it just wasn't something that I was interested in. Any Harry Potter fans that have any light to shed on this series, let me know. Is this something I should be checking out? I have no clue because I'm not interested in it. So it is what it is. Now this series though, I am hands down gonna see this first day as soon as it comes out. If it's on HBO Max, I may watch it on HBO Max and then go to the theaters to see it. So John Wick 4. Ooh wee! Now John Wick. You know what? As soon as I'm done this video, actually, I'm gonna go watch John Wick 3 because I love this series, man. It's over the top. It's very brutal. It's crazy. And the crazy thing is, I'm not really into like brutal stuff, but I love John Wick. I think it's crazy good. Like the story. The original story was like, it's like basic, but it's dope. And they've done this John Wickish kind of story before, ex super mercenary that, trying to retire, and then something brings him back into the life. First one was dope, second one was dope, third one was dope. I seen them all in the theaters. Love this movie. Gonna see part 4. Already knew what it was gonna do. They definitely bringing it back. I don't know how long they're planning on going on with this series, but if they keep being good, I'm going to keep going to see them. So it is what it is. All right, so we have Jurassic World, what is this, Dominion. So Jurassic Parks, oh man, they keep coming out. And it's just like, I don't know what to feel about them because I keep seeing them and then I'm like, like Jurassic Park, y'all trying to really like flesh out like, we're going to take it to the next level. This is the big thing. And it's just like, all right, Jurassic Park, the original was super dope. And then I think the second one too, I forgot what the name of the second one was, but it's just they keep coming out. I like the second one too, but the last few I was just like, God, man, all right, enough of these dinosaurs, man. I don't know, it's just, they rubbed me the wrong way, so I'm skipping this, so sorry if I'm offending anybody. Next up, Fast and Furious 9. This is getting ridiculous at this point. You watch Fast and Furious 1, and then you watch Fast and the Furious 8, that's all there is to say. Some people like over the top, but this, from part 1 to what they did with 8, that's like making a movie about like cavemen, and then part 9 being about space aliens coming and transporting like the inhabitants of the world to, you feel what I'm saying, like this other dimension, and then we start gaining superpowers and like it's that. From the original to, it's just crazy. I'm not gonna be able to do it. I'll catch it if I catch it. But like most of these films, I'll catch it in bits and pieces on TV or something. Whatever. So Black Widow, another Infinity War spoiler. I don't know. So Black Widow, I guess it's sort of like a prequel. When it's gonna take place at some point before she bites the bullet, I guess. But yeah, I don't think they're bringing it back just yet. Resurrection is not something that they've tackled in the MCU as of yet. So I don't know. But obviously it's a prequel. This is a film that, she definitely held down the MCU in the film. So showing love. It looks good. The action scenes look okay. Definitely going to check it out in the theaters. Next up, we got Spider-Man 3. Anybody who knows me knows Spider-Man is my favorite character. You know, I fight with him in all the fighting games. Like, I love Spider-Man. Love his comics. The comics now, they have so many Spider-Man comics. It's kind of hard to keep up with. I've been backlogging. You know, I got off of comics for quite some time. Yeah, you know, Spider-Man is cool. Like, I'm definitely gonna see this. You know what I mean? All movies Spider-Man related, I'm definitely checking them out. Spider-Man is my favorite. And it seems like they're gonna do like a I don't even know, like a SpiderVerse kind of thing, because there was like, I know. Okay, so they have the Into the SpiderVerse for the cartoon or whatever, but I think they're more or less going closer to the comics in this one, because they're bringing back, you know, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. That's what it looks like. That's what the talks are, and they bringing back in a lot of the old villains and stuff like that. So they're definitely gonna do something of the multiversal scale. So I wouldn't be surprised, because they say this now, but I wouldn't be surprised if they bring in Miles Morales, somebody to play Miles Morales alongside these guys too. You know, to tie into like the End of the Spider-Verse stuff. That'd actually be pretty cool. But you know what I mean? We will see. All right, next up we have Thor: Love and Thunder. Now, they had this storyline where they made Jane Foster Thor for a while. Wasn't a big fan of that storyline. Like, some people liked it. You know what I mean? And it just seems like they're trying to give Jane Foster something to do, because now she's Valkyrie and she's this and that. And it's just like, all right, Thor's unworthy. And, you know, when stories just run on and, you know, there's nobody policing, like, the type of stories that come out, you just get, like, these wilder stories. And, you know, in Hollywood, you know, they're pushing agendas now. You know, so now you gotta have your female Thor. It's cool. Will I see it in theaters? I did see all the other ones in theaters, so to continue the trend. But if it ends up being bad and they're pushing agendas and it's not a good film, I'm not seeing I think this is part 4, then I'm not seeing part 5 in the theater. So this is the last chance for Thor. Next up, we have the Avatar 2. Avatar broke so many records when it came out. Overall, it was a decent story, but the graphics and the visuals and everything was crazy. So I'll definitely check it out in theaters. You know, I'm definitely interested to see what they're doing with this. It's taking a long time to come out. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see, but I'll be on it. All right, so we have Jungle Cruise. Know absolutely nothing about this film. I know there's some of them that I really just I haven't been researching like all movies. You know, this is one that I know absolutely nothing about. So anybody know anything about this? Holla at me. Skipping this. Aladdin 2. Aladdin, the animated original, was my favorite animated movie of all time besides Howl's Moving Castle. This remake that they made pretty much offended me, because everybody has the time to be offended these days, so that was my offense. I didn't like it at all. I hated it. I seen Aladdin the play, which I loved. You know what I mean? I watched the Aladdin the cartoon, watched all the films. You know what I'm saying? Like, the cartoon movies, like, they were dope. Well, the original was dope. Return of Jafar was cool, and then Prince of Thieves was kind of okay. It was good. But this new one, I hated it, man. So, Aladdin 2. Return of Jafar? I don't know. Skippable. Next up, A Quiet Place 2. This one says April 22nd. Now, I seen the original one of this, and I was like, yo, this movie without any words, basically, like, it held my attention the whole time. This joint was dope. Are they going to be able to capture it again? Actually, when I seen Chris Stuckman do a review on this, if I'm not mistaken, I think he liked it. And it had me excited to see it. And then it just never came out. So I want to see this in the theater. So I'm definitely excited to see this. You know, now they have a way to fight the monsters. Spoiler alert! You know, that's what it is. What it is. I definitely want to check it out. Yeah, so that's basically it, man. That's the 41 movies and how we feel about it, how we're excited about it. You know, if you want to see more stuff like this, man, definitely check us out. It's your boy Black Trey from Your Kicks, Your Network. You know, Your Network. This week presented this. This video is brought to you by the Nerds List, so check us out on the Nerds List for all videos nerd related, movies, music, anime. All that good stuff, man. It's your boy Black Trey, man. Check us out.
Don't work, but you begging for the sequel. Headed for the redo. Telling you I need you. No, I ain't ready, but I'm telling what you we do. Headed for the sequel. Telling all your people. Never letting go, that's a necessary evil. Headed for the sequel. Telling all your people. Never letting go, that's a necessary evil. Baby, one more time, let me touch maybe one more time.